Thank you and welcome back on the continuation of discussions discussing Microsoft. So Microsoft. It is because of the importance of Microsoft. That is why reason in every single statement I made, the word Microsoft comes in. Because of the contribution that Microsoft has brought to the world that is digitally inclined, to the world of information, the world of information era. Microsoft has made us not to compute, and Microsoft has made this philosophy to stay within those that understands the Microsoft and technology very well. All that the Microsoft is trying to impact, all that the Microsoft is trying to make people feel informed is collaboration. We are no longer interested in competition in the world today. We are interested on how can we collaborate to solve a particular problem that the organization A has the quarter of the solution and informations. The organization B had the quarter of information, the data and the solution, and the organization C, so that we can all come together to see a problem in a wider perspective, come together with the parts we study in collectively collaborate and see the solution to that very particular problem at hand. So Microsoft has made us to believe in the world of today, we are no longer in the world of competition. We are in the world of collaboration in solving the particular problems that comes by our way or predicted by us that will come up in the near future. If you go into education institutions or academic environment of different level of education in every country, if you go into governmental organization and other non-governmental organization, you will see there is a higher rate of competition on who to be on top, on who is not to be on top. We are not in that world today because we are in the world of information with its availability at everyone's hand in his doorstep. So all we need is collaboration within ourselves to solve a particular problem that come up within ourselves or within our reach. Because today technology has made us not to reach within our local societies. Technology has made us to reach a far distance of hundreds of thousands of kilometers and solves problems in there. You can be in any parts of the world and be solving problems to any other parts of the world. It depends on the technological machines, technological tools, sophisticated technological equipments available with you and for you to use at that very particular time or environment. So collaboration is very important. We need to keep the word competition aside because if we are computing, at times there are credentials attached to competition that ones must work towards being better than the other. At times, on the process of working to become better than the other, we might end up taking the other out of either the business, out of the community, out of the environment. So, in the collaboration world, there are things we put into cognizance. We think together, we solve the problem together. If Microsoft can come to the rescue of Apple You can see how they are. They are not friends because they are all in the world of technology. It is expected of Microsoft to know the weakness of the Apple and kneel the Apple down, but this is not exactly what happens. As Microsoft discovers the problem of the Apple, the Microsoft comes together with the Apple, they collaborate and solve the problem. And it's the same thing happening with the Google and the Microsoft. There is a collaboration between one and another in solving the problem. What you lack, I give you. What I lack, you give me. We sit down, have the memorandum of understanding, right on how to operate. We are not in the world competing with each other. We are in the world collaborating to see the solution to the existing problems that we are having at hand because we all need each the other need the other party. That is why reason we have to collaborate. Collaboration is the key. Collaboration is the most important thing needed by us, of us, to us, and to the very general population that we are giving that particular information. Because without us collaborating, then it means we are bound to be one sided. And going one sided, not in teaming, if care is not taken, then we are bound in generality to fail on what we are building. So we need to be more collaborative than competitive because if we talk of competition, at times if the other organization is competing with the other organization is bound to take the other organization out of market. Then you have to think of the investment they had in there, you have to think of the infrastructure there, you have to think of the employees there. So by computing, if you disengage one out of the market, then it's a very huge loss even to you because it's create more more insecurity, of which insecurity is a threat to the particular business you are establishing. So we are not in the world of competition today, we are in the world of collaboration. If there are problems in area A, B, C, and D has to come together to see the possible solution in solving the particular problem that is observed, that is seen, that happens, that appears in site A. For example, let me cite an instance with the private schools in most of the areas, and that is why reason we are always very proud of Microsoft. Microsoft is doing the best expected of them, and Microsoft is putting the best expected effort to secure the future, to build the future for the upcoming generation, because we cannot afford to leave the upcoming generation uncollaborative. We don't teach the upcoming generation to compute, we teach them to collaborate because collaboration is what yielded the majority of the results of the digitalization of technology we are having today. As I said, for instance, in the private school, if you have a private school A, private school B, and private school C, what is expected of all the private school is what the A lacks, B will supplement to A. What the B lacks, A will supplement to B. What the C lack, A and B can come together and supplement. Or what the A lack, B and C can come together and supplement. It is not that if the A is lacking, then the B and C are trying to blackmail and undermine. This is not that particular digital 21st century imagined world we are in. We are in a serious hybrid learning environment today in the world. Then we have to adopt this type of technology. We have to adopt this trend. We collaborate and build the future. If it comes to either education or any organization, competition is not the best, but collaboration is the excellent. Once there is collaboration, there will be understanding, there will be development, there will be less jealousy, Multi-number of psychological things would be controlled if we collaborate. So collaboration is the key. Even in designing, as an instructional designer, I know that without myself collaborating with others, then definitely I cannot come to the best result expected of me. And equally, as a certified Microsoft innovator, definitely I have to collaborate with other, a professional instructional designer, and equally a certified Microsoft innovator. So for having those two things together, then definitely I have to understand how all the system works. You cannot be the master of all. Then what? You have to consult. This consultation is a collaboration. As you are collaborating with one or two party, persons, organizations, countries, continents, then you come to a solution of a particular problem identified. That is why reason Microsoft is training us today globally in the world not to be competitors, but rather to be collaborators. So Microsoft, I believe, is the best engine room. Microsoft is the best organization. I am very sorry, not saying that the other organizations are not best, but Microsoft is the best organization that is building tomorrow, that take good care of innovations in education and innovations in its entirety. Because of the sensitive nature and importance of innovation in education, that is why reason Microsoft is focusing most attention on education, because once there is an innovation in education, it is expected that the majority of the population will have an access to that particular new knowledge that is given to the very particular person that can serve as instructors, that can serve as administrators, that can serve as moderators somewhere, that can serve as engineers somewhere, in whatsoever. So that is why reason Microsoft focused much on education innovations and also trying to see that technology education has been that Microsoft is putting the best expected of them to see that there is an integration of technology into education. So the more integrated technology into education, the more the positive results it is expected to yield. For simple reason that the more the technology is integrated, the more the closing gap of inequality. Because once the education is served in the digital platform, then the gap of inequality is a bit addressed, and the right for everyone to secure education is addressed equally. That is why reason in today's world we have multi-number of universities that even give a free online tutoring or free tuition free universities. From day one to the last day you complete your university education. More especially, I can recommend multi-number of people to go and apply for University of People. So this university is a very great institution where they made a tuition free university. So the university is open for everybody in the world. It is only you to go into the website of University of People, register yourself, and do wait for some certain period as instructed. Once the admission is ready, the University of People will alert you and you continue with your studies. So you see, for this serious intervention by Microsoft to the Google, we are closing the gaps of educated and none, went to school and none. So the digital inclination is coming to the doorstep of every one of us. So, with the aid of Microsoft Teams, Microsoft has enabled multi-number of hundreds of millions of persons to interact through Teams, discuss important topic, discuss projects, works on a very particular thing, living in a very separate environment. So with Microsoft Teams, things comes easier and it made collaboration so interesting. And Microsoft has tried her best to see that virtual field trips through Teams are becoming more interesting thing. While you are living in your particular location, you are interacting with somebody somewhere else that you have never seen. You see each other, you talk to each other, you share experiences. You ask him about the temperature, the weather of his environment, the nature of his people. Maybe if I may say, if you may likely visit the environment, there are certain tips you get from him. So, with a virtual field trip, Microsoft has made everything so easier to the doorstep of every single of us. So, Microsoft is doing a very great job, and Microsoft has been doing that. It is not the first time. If you don't forget, I have always been saying when there are difficulties in accessing 365 of Microsoft, many have been complaining the version is a paid version for one to access. So Microsoft has enabled to work hard and put the resources expected to make a paid and the free version of 365. In the 365 free version, Microsoft is spending around $1.2 billion every year just to give you these services of 365. So you can see how important, committed Microsoft is in bridging and closing the gap of going and non going to school, of educated and non educated person. So Microsoft has given a platform where we are no longer interested in the digital world of asking someone has come, someone has not come, someone has attended, someone has not attended. The attendance of Mr. A was cancelled as a result of he cannot make the flight schedule has been changed. Mr. B won't be able to be here because his vehicle got spoiled along the road. So Microsoft has made multi-number of things to be history. You can be in your room as right away I am sleeping, attending the meeting. So we don't have any reason to be absent in any occasion invited. Please do try as much as you can to have the Microsoft team register with the Microsoft account, get the Microsoft either the Outlook or you get the Hotmail so that you can have an access of logging into 365, have your themes, have your training on them. Once you know how to use the applications of Microsoft, I believe you will thank me and I believe you will say thank you to Microsoft. And I believe you will say that the Microsoft is doing a great job to help us adapt in this fast changing digital world because the world is changing faster than however one can imagine. The world is moving at the speed that there is never an object has ever made attempt to move in such a speed. So we have to at least put the best expected of us to raise our hands and say thank you to Microsoft and clapped to Microsoft. Microsoft is doing the best for us. Microsoft is building the future. Microsoft is building the community to be trusted. Microsoft is building what many lacks. Microsoft is being selfless in the service of giving the less privileged the expected skills that is ordinarily is not everyone can have an opportunity of having it. So Microsoft is equipping us for tomorrow, let's not forget to say thank you to Microsoft. Microsoft, you are doing the best towards changing the narratives in the world. Microsoft, Microsoft, the great Microsoft. So we always love Microsoft. Microsoft is ours.